Hey there guys, Portal Master here. Now let me go ahead and get this out of the way by saying that this news is a little bit delayed. This is actually the third time that I've recorded this video, so I apologize for it taking so long. However, this news is still relevant as I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it around the internet. So if you missed it, there has been some major leaks on the potential titles that Nintendo could be announcing this year. As you know, the current lineup for 2019 for first party or just straight up Nintendo published games is looking pretty sparse right now. So right now, pretty much the only thing that we've got announced is we have a Yoshi game coming, we've got Fire Emblem Three Houses, we've got Pokemon Gen 8 in whatever form that decides to take, and of course we've got Animal Crossing coming probably at the end of the year. Beyond that, we have no actual Nintendo titles that are actually confirmed for 2019, and that has led a lot of people to wonder, how many things could we be looking at? When is Nintendo going to announce them? So we have a few of those answers here today. So this was posted over on Reset Era, which is a gaming forum by a renowned, I guess you could say, leaker slash person who has consistently accurate inside info. And she said that in the past that there is a minimum of 5 new Nintendo titles that have not been announced yet that will be occurring this year. She's expanded on that information and said that 5 is the floor, the minimum. There could be as many as 11 or even 12 Nintendo published titles that we did not know about as of right now. And note that I do say Nintendo published. There is a difference between Nintendo developed and Nintendo published. Nintendo is both a development company and a publishing studio, meaning that these could be third-party games that are exclusive to the Nintendo Switch as they will be published by Nintendo. So these are probably going to be the big titles that we would come to expect from Nintendo, even though they may not all be actually made by Nintendo. The fact that they're published by them, still means they're probably going to be well-renowned titles. So let's actually look at what she was saying would be coming this year. So the first thing that she has on the list is this is the most likely section, meaning that everything in here, there's a 70% chance or higher that this will actually occur. The first 4 things on here are mystery games. We don't really know what these things are. These are games that could literally be anything. They could be titles that have not even been teased or rumored yet. These could be complete and total wild cards by Nintendo. But one thing is for sure, these titles do not refer to things like the Pokemon game or even Retro Studios' potential Star Fox game, and we'll talk about why that's the case in just a moment. So these are pretty much just way up in the air. We have no clue what these things could be. However, 4 brand new first-party Nintendo or Nintendo-published games, that is pretty big, especially for, all in the span of years. So this is pretty awesome. Next up, we have 2 eShop games. We're going a little out of order here, but I just wanted to go ahead and touch on both of these. So eShop's game 1 and 2, all this is going to apply to both of them. This is presumably a title that is published or developed by Nintendo, but is not big enough to warrant actual physical release. So this could be, seriously, there is no guessing as to what these could be. People have been suggesting that this could be remasters of old Nintendo games, like really old Nintendo games, or even something that we just aren't expecting whatsoever. But the point is that these are sort of the lower tier mystery games that we don't really know about. Games that would still be pretty awesome, but not actually be purchased by as many people as the first 4 mystery games would be. The next thing that's on here, this is the item, the single most little detail that's actually on here on this first part of the list. Mystery Wii U port number 1, 2013 title. Now this could be only a few things, as there's actually not that many Wii U titles from 2013 that would even be worthy of porting over to the Switch. You've got things like Super Luigi U, Pikmin 3, things like Wind Waker HD, stuff like that. Those are the things that were released in 2013 on the Wii U that could possibly be ported over to the Switch. And in my opinion, it is most likely Wind Waker HD. I know that there are a lot of rumors about, new Zelda games that could be coming to the Switch, but the point is that we pretty much have enough rumors that state that Nintendo is trying to get some type of Zelda game out every single year on the Switch. And with only vague rumors that there's actually a Skyward Sword remaster in development, and only vague rumors that a potential Breath of the Wild sequel developed a la Majora's Mask style is actually on the way, we don't actually know that they're developing a new game. So to me, it seems like basic common sense that they should port over Wind Waker, because Wind Waker HD was a game that was quite good and had a lot of potential. However, it didn't sell to its full potential because it came out on a crappy console like the Wii U. Re-releasing it on the Nintendo Switch would allow a lot more people to actually purchase it and probably play it. So I could definitely see this occurring. However, there are also a lot of rumors about a Pikmin 4 title, and if Pikmin 4 is one of those mystery games, then I could actually see this being Pikmin 3, or even maybe like a Pikmin Trilogy. I don't know what the odds of that occurring are, but I know that the original Pikmin was not on the Wii U, and I think the Pikmin 2 was also just on the Wii, but I do know that Pikmin 3 was on the Wii U, so I actually could see this being Pikmin 3, to sort of hype up the release of Pikmin 4. But that all kind of hinges on Pikmin 4 releasing. If Pikmin 4 is not one of those mystery games, I don't believe that this Wii U title could be a Pikmin game. So I honestly believe that it is most likely Wind Waker HD. However, it could also be Super Mario 3D World. I think World is the one that was on the Wii U, and Land was the one on the 3DS. Whichever one came out on the Wii U is the one that I also saw on the list of games released in 2013 that I think is a potential candidate for release. Anyway though, the next thing that it says on the most likely section is a new Nintendo Labo kit. Now this could be quite literally anything. However, this is also quite specific. We know exactly what it is. It's a new Labo kit. But here's the question. I don't know if it's going to be another specific thing like the robot or another variety pack, because of course the first two things that were released for the Labo was the robot kit and the variety pack, and I would say whichever one sold better is probably the one that Nintendo is going to release another one of. If the robot sold better, they'll probably release another specific Labo kit, whereas if the variety pack sold better, which I have a feeling that it did, it might be another variety pack. Plus it also does a little bit more showcasing of the technology that is possible using the Labo setup. So I think that it's probably another variety pack. However, don't hold me to this. So now let's move on to the second section of her little spiel of information. This is the maybe games for 2019, meaning there is a 50% chance or less of them actually happening. The first of these that she actually lists off is Retro Studios' secret game, assuming that it wasn't canceled, she says. So this is weird that she put this down in the maybe category. I'm not doubting her because her inside information tends to be quite reliable. It's just strange to me that the Retro Studios game would be at a 50% chance or less. We know they're working on something. We know that they were working on something before they switched over to Metroid Prime. We know that for almost fact, and we have a good, strong inclination that it was actually a Starbox game. I can't imagine why that wouldn't come out in 2019. Especially if they're now working on Metroid Prime 4. That kind of implies that they're done working on whatever they were working on before. If they're going to switch all of their development resources, surely they were done with what they were doing before. So if the game is done, I fail to comprehend why it wouldn't come out in 2019. That would make no sense to me. So honestly, I don't agree with this part, because Retro Studios' game has to come out, if it wasn't canceled, in 2019 if they're working on Metroid Prime 4. It literally has to. So that's kind of, I don't really fully understand what she's saying here. The second thing that she lists on the maybe category, the 10th total title, wow, nice alliteration there, is the Metroid Prime Trilogy. Now, this is something that I stated could especially be happening now that Metroid Prime 4 was delayed until who even knows when. However, if the game is actually coming out this year, the Metroid Prime Trilogy, then that does imply that the game has been in development for quite a long time. And for those of you that may be skeptical of something like that occurring, just remember it takes a lot less resources to actually remaster a game and re-release it than it does to develop a new game. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying you don't have to write story or design new mechanics for a game if you're just porting it. So with that in mind, I could totally see the Metroid Prime Trilogy coming out this year, even if it's not developed by Retro Studios, and Retro Studios didn't touch it with a 13.5-foot pole. I can totally understand a Metroid Prime Trilogy, and it seems a little weird now to think that we could be getting the Prime Trilogy in 2019 and potentially not even get Metroid Prime 4 until 2020 something, 2021, 2022, but still it is a possibility, especially if it was in development before Metroid Prime 4 got delayed. The final thing that she lists on here is Mystery Wii U port number 2. There's no additional details given here as to what this could possibly be. Some people have been suggesting that it could be like Xenoblade Chronicles, or Xenoblade Chronicles X, I should say. I don't know. I think that it's going to be a game that did not sell to its full potential, which is exactly what the first Wii U port was probably for. I mean, that's why they keep porting over these Wii U games. You look at Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, New Super Mario's U Deluxe, which is just a crazy name. But anyway, those are the types of games they're porting over, and they would port over a game that did not reach its full potential. I don't know if Xenoblade Chronicles, how much better it would sell on the Switch. I know that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 sold quite well on the Switch. I'm not sure how those sales numbers compare to Chronicles X, but it's a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities as to what this could be. The Wii U had a lot of good games, but, it was the Wii U. So this could be a lot of things, and it'll be very interesting to see what this winds up being. So that only actually listed off 11 games. However, she said there was a cap of 12. So I would assume that that 12th game is probably just another mystery game number 5, if you will. But it is kind of interesting that we now sort of have a ballpark estimate of how many of these things there will be. So she obviously says the minimum is 5, the maximum is 12, and she lists off 11. I would say that it's probably likely that there are 8 or 9 games that it will be released out of this list. Just remember that not all the most likely games will actually happen according to her, and I am assuming that the games that don't happen will just happen at a later point, like in 2020. I'm assuming that's why she doesn't know a lot of this information, because it seems like, she has received inside reports but doesn't have release dates, is what this sounds like to me, but of course I don't actually know what she's talking about here. I'm just here to speculate. So anyway, tell me down in the comments what you think about this stuff. What do you think these mystery games could be? What do you think that mystery Wii U port could be? And if you'd like to see more content like this, tell me down in the comments below. Anyways, that's all for now. This has been Portal Master. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and shout out to all my patrons on Patreon, especially Portal Power TV, Cosmic Dragon Gaming, and that's it. So I'll see you guys next time.